Okay, so review for Unit 2, Test 2. We're going to translate and then find the answer. So half the sum of a number and 12 is 30. Find the number. So the number is our unknown. That's our unknown right there. So half the sum of a number and 12 is 30. Is a key word. I have my equal sign right there. Sum, I know I've got to add. I'm adding a number and 12. So x plus 12, and it's half the sum. So I have to guarantee that I am going to find the sum first. If I just put half here, half x, that's not half the sum, that's just half of a number. And so I have to use those parentheses in order to do that. Remember, I could also write it as x plus 12 all over 2 equals 30. And then I could solve either way, okay? So my equation is either the half x plus 12 equals 30 or this other one right there. So to solve, basically I can get rid of the 2 to start with. So I would have, I'd multiply by the 2, and so x plus 12 equals 60, and then I can subtract 12, and x is going to equal 48. So my number is 48. Jack's bowling score is a 120, which is, there's my is, an equal sign there, 85 less than 3 times Jill's score. What is Jill's score? So Jill's score is what we don't know. That's my x value. So there's my x value there. 85 less than. Well, what's 5 less than 20? Well, 5 less than 20 is 20 minus 5. What's 50 less than 75? Well, 50 less than what we have of 75 is going to be 25. So less than means I'm going to subtract that 85. So it should be minus the 85. And 3 times Jill's score is just 3x. And that's equal to, which is, that's our equal sign, the 120. So there's our equation. 3x minus 85 equals 120. So to solve, I'm going to add 85. Again, Desmos is our friend. Whatever we need to do there, 3x equals 205, I believe. And then we would divide by 3. And so 205 divided by 3 is not going to come out evenly. It doesn't look like. And 20, yep. And then it's going to go in 8 times, that's 24, and we got 1/3 left over. So it doesn't come out evenly. And so Jack's score is a 120. So we know what Jack's score is. It's 120. Jill's score is about a 68. Okay, 68 and a third, but you can't have a score of 68 and 1/3 specifically. Okay, so real life, we'll go with that 68. I do believe on the test, all the answers are nice and pretty instead of having some fractions. So those of you listening to this, you'll know that if you come up with something. All right, number 3, the sum of two numbers is 207. Okay, so the sum is 207. So it equals the 207. The second number is 8 times the first. Find the two numbers. So my first number is going to be my x. That's the one, because that's, and then the second number is 8x because it's 8 times the first number. So the sum of the two numbers, that means I'm going to add my first number, which is x, and my second number, which is 8x, and we're going to end up with 9x equals 207. When I divide by 9, I'm not sure this one comes out even either. So 207 divided by 9 is 2, oh it does, okay good, 18, 2, bring down my 7, and so it's going to be 23. So x is 23, and then to find the other one, I'm going to take 8 times that 23, and 8 times 23, this is where I'm going to just go ahead and pull out the calculator. So 8 times 23 gives me 184. So see, I just pulled out the calculator. So I got 184. And here's my equation to go down for there. All right. 6 times the sum again of a number and 5 is 36. There's my is, so equals the 36. 6 times the sum, and what guarantees I'm going to have the sum are these parentheses. We're looking for a number. That's what we don't know. We're finding the sum of a number and 5, x plus 5, but it's 6 times that sum. 6 times that sum. So there's our equation. 6 times x plus 5 equals 36. And there's a couple of different ways that we could solve this. We could distribute and get 6x plus 30 equals 36 and subtract 30. So 6x equals 6 and divide by 6. X equals 1. The other option that I have is I could actually divide by 6 to start with. And so x plus 5 would equal 6. And when I subtract 5 from here, x is also going to equal 1. Okay, so either way, we have x equal to 1. All right, number 5. The sum of 3 numbers is 175. So we have 1, 2, 3 numbers. The second number is triple the first, and the third number is 45 more than the first. So everything's in terms of the first number, so x is going to be my first number. The second number is triple the first. So if it's triple the first, I'm going to have 3x for that one. And the third number is 45 more than the first. Excuse me. So I'm going to take the first, and more than means I'm going to add the 45 to that. I'm adding the sum of these 3 numbers is 175. So it equals 175. I'm going to add the first number. There's my x, plus my second number is 3x, plus my third number is x plus 45. They don't need to be in parentheses. I'm putting them in parentheses to show here's my first number, here's my second number, here's my third number. Okay, so that's why I'm putting them in there. So we're ready to solve that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and combine all of my like terms. I have an x, 3x, and an x. So I have 4x, and then I still have plus 45 equals 175. If I subtract 45, I have 4x equals 130. And this doesn't come out even. So 175 minus the 45 is 130, and when I divide by 4, I get 32.5. So 32.5 is a legitimate number. And then times 3 to find this number. So if I have 32.5 here, and then I would take 3 times the 32.5, and putting that in my calculator is 97.5. And then this one, I'm taking 32.5 plus 45. So did I make a mistake? So 32.5 plus 45 is 77.5. But if I add those, 97.5 plus 32.5, I end up with 207.5. So what did I do? Sum of 3 numbers. Oh, I know what I did. If it's more than that, no. So the second number is triple the first. So 3 times this. And the third number is 45 more than the first. So if my first number was 10, my second number has to be 45. Right? Yeah. Or 55, because if it was 10, 45 more than the first would be 55. So I'm adding that 45. So I have an x plus a 3x plus a 45. Okay, I see my mistake now. 3, 4, 5. This should be a 5. So this should be a 5. So then I'm dividing by 5. So it's not going to be 32. Say 130 divided by 5 is 26. That makes much more sense. 3 times 26 is 78. And then 26 plus the 45 gives us 71. So my three numbers are that. I missed an x, so 3x plus an x is 4x, but plus this other x should be a 5x instead. All right. Now we're ready to solve for n, a value. Okay, so the formula for the circumference of a circle is 3 equals 2 pi r, solve for r. So I'm solving for the radius. So if I take a look, what's happening to the radius right now? Well, we're just multiplying by 2 pi because it's 2 times pi times radius. And so I can group that together. So basically, I have to undo that. So if I undo that, that means I'm going to divide by 2 pi. To where those are gone, and so circumference over 2 pi equals radius. And that is my answer. So the trapezoid, A equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height, solve for h. So we're getting h by itself. Okay, so what's happening to h first? Well, this is all multiplication. So what's happening to h is we're multiplying by b1 plus b2, and we're multiplying by 1/2, or the other thing of multiplying by 1/2 is dividing by 2, and many of us prefer this because we know how do we get rid of dividing by 2. We don't like so much the multiplying by 1/2 or then dividing by 1/2. We don't like that quite as much. So I am going to get rid of the dividing by 2 first. So if I get rid of dividing by 2, I'm going to multiply by 2, which means that that's going to disappear. And so I'm just going to multiply by 2. So I have 2a equals b1 plus b2 times h. And so we got rid of this. It's time to get rid of multiplying by that. So I'm going to divide by b1 plus b2. And when I do that, those are both gone, and I'm just left with 2a over b1 plus b2 equals h. And that's my answer. Solving for b. So solving for b on this one. What's happening to b? Well, we're adding mx. So if I want to just get b by itself, the only thing I have to get rid of is adding mx. So if I subtract mx from both sides, I have y minus mx equals b. b is by itself. We are finished. All right, solving for y. So let's take a look at what's happening to y. Looks like first thing I'd be doing to y would be multiplying by b. And then once I multiply by b, I take that answer and I'm going to add ax. So that's what I have to get rid of. I have to go backwards and get rid of that. So how do I get rid of adding ax? Well, I'm going to subtract ax. So here's what I have. I have by equals c minus ax. So I need to get rid of multiplying by b, so I'm going to divide by b. So y equals c minus ax all over b. And that's my answer. And then finally, the last one, solving for g. So here's my g. So if I make my list of what's happening to g first, well, we're adding f. And then once I have this answer, I'm dividing by 3. So I need to undo. So first thing is going to be to multiply by 3. And so I multiply by 3, that gets rid of it. And so I have 3y equals f plus